The all-new 22 Civic, now on sale at Team Honda on Siegen Lane.
Hi, business owners. Phase 3. Woohoo! But do your customers know you're back? Well, that's where the Clarence Bug Show and Pelican Broadcasting can help. Right now, we've got great rates on advertising packages to help you get the word out. Shoot me an email at bugsclarence@gmail.com. Or better yet, call me up. I'd love to talk with you. 225-485-6839. Let's get together and make Phase 3 the best it can possibly be.
They said I could find you here. Why are you fishing? Our company's got to ship out 2 full color brochures and 20 color copies. You're killing me.
It's done. Designed, printed, packaged, and shipped.
How?
You just got to know the right people. Baker Printing, the printing people.
How come you get to fish in this private lake?
Like I said, you just got to know the right people. You can know the right people too.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hello and welcome as we start today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show. Here's hoping that all is well with you and yours in your world. Since the last opportunity, we had to spend a little time with you and yours, roughly 48 hours ago, Marty? We start today's show with Louisiana news. Obviously, Nicholas, having come ashore now, is starting to break up and at last report was finally starting to move out of our area. However, as you probably are well aware by now, rain chances remain in the forecast today as Nicholas continues the process of dissipating. The weakness will still be around long enough to continue to kick up showers and storms throughout the area today, mostly scattered in nature. Hopefully, nothing like what we all witnessed yesterday evening. It'll feel more like typical summer showers than anything related to any storm front or system. Problem is here, guys and girls, and this is no epiphany to you and yours. You know full well that the ground is completely saturated. So in many areas, and again, no epiphany here, this ain't your first rodeo in the vernacular of the streets. You know the problem areas where it's not going to take a whole lot before you look around and start going, whoa, there's standing water, or whoa, the water's rising pretty fast. With the level of saturation all across our state, it's to be expected. So while you may step out, things don't look that bad, that can change at a moment's notice. So guys, girls, govern yourselves accordingly in that regard, and hopefully, before you know it, we will all be past this and keeping our eyes on the tropics for whatever Mother Nature may throw our way after that. In other Louisiana news, boy, talk about 24 hours making a difference, right? And you know, now that I think about this, it is symptomatic of the American public and how we view our government's response to COVID-19. Just 24 hours ago, the newly installed president at our state's flagship university, Louisiana State University, announcing that we're not going to kick folks out of LSU, students who have decided not to comply with the vaccine mandate. And of course, very first lead story on just about every local media outlet this morning. Hours later, LSU announcing that they have started the, quote, unenrollment process of some 78 individuals that have not complied with the vaccine mandate. Now, Marty, I don't know if something happened, but for whatever reason, we just went totally dark in that regard. If you could update me on that, I'd appreciate it. What is bothersome to a lot of people, particularly those who have been beaten vigorously about the head and shoulders with the phrase, you got to follow the science. We were told in no uncertain terms that the goal is herd immunity. We've got to vaccinate X amount of people, and if we can do that, then we can get a handle on this. Of course, now they've flip-flopped God knows how many times since initially putting that out there, but I digress. At a school like Louisiana State University, I don't have the exact number in front of me, but it's got to be in the neighborhood of 30,000 students. 78 out of tens of thousands of students not complying with the mandate, and you're going to kick them out. Now, conventional wisdom says, wait a minute, you have the vaccine. We've been told, wink, wink, it's safe and effective, wink, wink. So let me get this straight. Out of ballpark figure, 30,000 students, 78 are unvaccinated, and they pose a threat to all these others who have been vaccinated. Of course, now, this is not the first, nor by any stretch of the imagination is it going to be the last time that we've had officials flip-flop on something, okay? Did you notice, not so very long ago, very quietly, I might add, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has now officially changed the definition of what a vaccine is. Now, far be it from me to second guess the government, but I've got to wonder if the number of, quote, breakthrough cases had something to do with this. You know what, throughout this whole COVID episode, what may be most disheartening to me, we already knew, most of us who've been paying attention for any amount of time in our lives, we already knew government is the least effective, least efficient entity on the planet. If you want somebody to screw something up, put the government in charge. Well, Clarence, how can you say that? Well, I'll tell you how I can say that. Name me one thing that you can readily say the government has done an absolutely marvelous job of fixing. War on poverty? Nope. More people live in poverty now than any time in the nation's history. The war on drugs? Nope. Middle schoolers can tell you any day of the week where you can go and score a dime bag. The war on illegal immigration? Chuckle, chuckle, chuckle. Take a trip down to the southern border. Tell me how that's working out for you. War on inflation? Been to the grocery store or the gas pump lately? Starting to get the idea here? The least efficient, least effective organization, period. And yet, there are many of you that continue to operate under the assumption that, hey, they're the government. They got my best interest at heart. It's going to be interesting to see what the courts will do with all of this, meaning the vaccine mandate from President Joe Biden, and of course now kicking students out of our state's flagship university because they have not acquiesced to getting a vaccine that many folks have no clue what's in it, and of course a vaccine for something that if you actually get the virus, Most folks will never know they had it, and for those who do, with no existing comorbidities, over 98% of them will survive it. And yet, you think, Mr., Mrs., Ms., government, that for something that I will probably never know I had, something that without existing comorbidities I will certainly get over, you think it's a good idea to give them the right to take away your freedoms and your liberties. If you think that way, you made my job a whole lot easier. I already know you got to be a Democrat, a liberal, or a progressive. It's written all over your face. It is as plain as the nose on your face. See, the difference between us, conservatives, and y'all, liberals, we understand. In America, if you want the vaccine, by all means, go get it. But as an American, without coexisting morbidities, as an American who understands if I get it, I'll probably never know I had it, as an American, if I get it without coexisting morbidities, I will probably overcome it with no problem. Leave me the hell alone. The difference between us and y'all, pretty simple. First break of today's show coming up. When we come back, we got to talk, y'all, because we have a problem in America. It's in our military. And as someone who grew up in a military household, Lord, this one chaps my hide beyond belief. We have people in high positions of power in the government that think it's okay to circumvent the process and conduct foreign policy, apparently, on their own. Sounds like collusion to me, doesn't it? Huh. If Donald Trump was still in office, that's what it would be, collusion. That's up next when we continue today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show, only on the Pelican. Sit tight.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Go where summer leads you in an award-winning Mazda CUV. Find yours during Mazda's season of discovery.
Call, click, or come by and discover your new Mazda today at Baton Rouge's Mazda dealer, Team Mazda on Airline.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986.
Check.
I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology, which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Democrat must be lying. Welcome back. We are overcoming some technical difficulties. White people in the truck. See, that's what you get. That's what you get, see. White people in the truck. But I digress. Love you guys dearly. You know this. Unless you are an expert lip reader, then you're not aware that I prefaced this segment by saying we're all products of our life experience. What you were exposed to as a child typically shapes, makes, molds who you are as an adult. Having grown up in a military household, I have a strong affinity for the fighting men and women of this country. And there is something that came to light recently that, if true, should scare the bejesus out of Americans. It is being alleged in a new book that the same, I got to be careful here because I can't call the guy what I really want to call him, General Mark Milley, Afghanistan cluster bleep, that guy. According to this new book out, in the days leading up to January 6th, General Milley, apparently buying into the narrative that then President Donald Trump was mentally unstable and on the verge of starting a nuclear war with China, General Mark Milley took it upon himself to call his counterpart in the Chinese military and tell them, everything's fine here, the government's stable, we're not going to attack y'all. But if we do, if we decide to attack you, rest assured, I'm going to call you ahead of time and let you know so it won't be a surprise. Now, if true, you do realize we are talking an individual consorting with the enemy. If we decide to attack you, rest assured, I'm going to call you ahead of time and let you know so it won't be a surprise. This is disgusting on so many levels, I don't have enough time to cover them all. Number one, maybe I just missed it. I try to the very best of my ability to stay abreast of things, particularly as it pertains to government and the people's involvement. Meaning, as much as I encourage you guys and girls to vote, apparently I missed the election where the American public decided that General Mark Milley should represent this country in matters of foreign policy. Apparently, I completely missed that election. I didn't know a darn thing about that one. But apparently, he's of the opinion that he has been appointed or elected to this position to conduct foreign policy on our behalf. You know, it occurred to me, perhaps if he hadn't been so freaking busy consorting with the enemy, he might have been able to do his damn job in Afghanistan. Had he not been so busy calling the Chinese to let them know, listen, bruh, it's cool, I'm going to give you the heads up in case we decide to attack. If he hadn't been so busy with that kind of crap, he might have been able to get the hostages, yes, Saki, I said it, he might have been able to get the American hostages out of Afghanistan. This guy has got to go, y'all. If true, if anywhere near true, this guy has got to go. We're talking treason here, y'all. And we're not talking just fire this clown, court-martial him. And if the Republicans, the spineless individuals that they are, don't follow through with this, then you and I got our marching orders, folks. Conservatives, it's time to get rid of every single Republican that does not stand up and demand this. It almost slipped out, Marty. It almost came out. Any Republican that does not stand up and demand that this guy is fired and court-martialed, we need to get their butts out of Washington too, because they are the problem. We are a nation of laws, people. And for military purposes, there's a little thing that we've managed to adhere to ever since the first military in this country, called the freaking chain of command. Somebody's got to be in charge. And newsflash, General Milley, it ain't you. It's not you, dude. This is troubling on so many levels. Now, you know what's what the irony of ironies is here? You want to see how hypocritical these folks are? If you thought Donald Trump was unstable, what in God's name do you think Joe Biden is? Here's a guy that won't even take questions from the media. Here's a guy, President Biden, that lied again this week saying, oh yeah, I used to work at that place. And they turn around and say, no, you didn't, Joe. Of course, it's not the first time. He also claimed that I used to drive trucks. No, bro, you rode in one time. Ding, ding, ding. Yeah, I was raised in the black church. No, you weren't, Joe. No, you weren't, bro. So if you were worried about a guy who passed with flying colors his cognizant dissonance test, he passed it, hands down. So what do you think now about the guy who's occupying the White House? Yeah, that guy that they won't let take questions from people because God only knows what he might say. If there is one little whisper of America's awakening, start paying attention to what's going on in college football stadiums all across America. Start paying attention. Now, the mainstream media, the lying collusionists that they are going to go out of their way to hide it from you. That's what they do. You know, that's who they are. It's what they do. I get it. But there's this wonderful new invention. You may not have heard about it just yet, but it allows you to access media and all the information, all the knowledge that mankind has amassed to date. It's called the internet. So while ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, LOL, MSLSD, while they try to snooker, hoodwink, and bamboozle you by hiding the truth from you, you got a way to get around that now, y'all. It's called the internet. Google Biden chants at college stadiums. I'll give you a heads up. FBJ. Matter of fact, they're selling t-shirts with it now. FBJ. You'll figure it out. It's a family show, so I can't tell you. Marty can, but I can't tell you. Oh, you can't make this stuff up, y'all. You can't make it up. Tell you what, I need to get this break out of the way. Bottom of the hour. We'll get her done. Come back and give you guys and girls another racism alert. That's up next when we continue today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show, only on the Pelican. Sit tight.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with The Rocket Right Show.
We are two busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
Hi, business owners. Phase 3. Woohoo! But do your customers know you're back? Well, that's where the Clarence Bug Show and Pelican Broadcasting can help. Right now, we've got great rates on advertising packages to help you get the word out. Shoot me an email at bugsclarence@gmail.com. Or better yet, call me up. I'd love to talk with you. 225-485-6839. Let's get together and make Phase 3 the best it can possibly be.
Hello, guys. It's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Caught spiders? Premier Pest Services.
Welcome back to today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show. I was laughing with my man Bill, new member of the Pelican crew, during the last commercial break, and he's like, "All right, when are we gonna have? Now that's just stupid." And I told him, I said, "Well, that's only on Tuesdays, bro." He's like, "No, it's my favorite segment." So after I thought about it, I said, "Well, this next segment could actually, in fact, bleed over from racism alert to, now that's just stupid." It encompasses all of the above. You know, if there's any silver lining, y'all, to the whole COVID-19 pandemic and the virtual learning model, more people now than ever are aware of what's actually being taught in public schools. For example, Josh Thompson is an English teacher at Blacksburg High School in Montgomery County, Tennessee. This guy is the epitome of racism alert / now you just stupid, bruh. We're gonna make a new segment just for people like Josh. This English teacher is of the opinion that expecting students in a class to sit quietly at their desks, pay attention to the instruction being offered, and not disrupt the learning process is the very definition of white supremacy. There you go. That's what I'm doing. It is the very definition of white supremacy. Asking kids to sit quietly in their seats, pay attention to what the teacher is saying, is the definition of white supremacy. As you might imagine, parents at this school are not particularly happy with Josh Thompson. Listen to this clown's rationale, if you will. Speaking about positive behaviors, quote, okay, well, what are these positive behaviors? Things like making sure you're following directions, making sure you're sitting quietly, making sure that you're in your seat. All these things come from, wait for it, white culture. The idea of just sitting quiet and being told stuff and taking things in a passive stance is not a thing that's in many cultures. So if we're positively enforcing these behaviors, we are, by extension, positively enforcing these behaviors. We are, by extension, enforcing elements of white culture, which therefore keeps whiteness at the center, which is the definition of white supremacy. So let me get this straight. My late father, bless his heart, in demanding that every day when I went to school, that I put my little narrow behind in that seat, I don't disrupt the learning process, I pay attention to what the teachers, who are paid, by the way, by his tax dollars, the knowledge they are trying to impart to me. Who knew my late father was a white supremacist? Huh. Who would have ever thought? Huh. So apparently, all these black parents in a Walmart or the mall that demand their kids behave, stop making all this noise, stop interrupting the flow of commerce, apparently they are white supremacists too. You know what is most disheartening about this? I learned very early in life, God's word tells us, you will always have the poor among you. That is a fact. But apparently Jesus forgot to tell us that we will always have the morons among us as well. It's one thing, y'all, to have what you think is a great idea. It's one thing. What did the old folk teach us years ago? it is better to be thought a fool and keep one's mouth shut than it is to open it and remove all doubt. Well, after this exercise, we all know exactly what Josh Thompson is. You know, one of the bad parts of listening to what they say, I have a dear friend, I call him my favorite liberal. When we're discussing different sides of an issue, he loves to throw in, this way he doesn't have to own it, but he gets to put it out there. Well, you know what they say. And of course, typically I will tell him, yeah, but you also know what they say about listening to what they say, right? And that typically will shut that down. But here's my point. You start listening to what they say, and before you know it, you can't think for yourself anymore. Now, I don't even want to know what the thought process entailed. I don't even want to know how this clown sat down and rationalized this decision. Hey, it's America. You got a right to be a moron. It's buried somewhere in the Constitution in the fine print. It's America. You got a right to be a moron. But everything that comes up does not need to come out. If in fact, and the irony of ironies here, put this same clown in a classroom where children won't sit in their seats, where children won't pay attention, where children will disrupt the learning process, and see what this clown has to say then. I am so very grateful to the good Lord above that I no longer have any children in public schools these days. Because if I did, after what COVID and the learning cycle, the remote learning cycle has revealed to me, there is no way on God's green earth I would let my kids loose in that environment. Ain't happening. If I had to upend my entire existence and go to homeschooling, well, so be it. That would be my responsibility as a parent. These kids did not ask to come here. And to put them into a situation that has morphed from education to indoctrination is shameful. It is shameful. These kids deserve better, y'all. So maybe, if nothing else, remote learning is forcing you as a parent to pay attention to what's being taught to your children. Just this week, not only was this clown brought to light, but two other teachers. One, this was actually about a week ago, one saying that Old Glory does not represent this country, many portions of it, but we'd be better off pledging allegiance to the rainbow flag. Of course, everybody knows what that is. And yet another that sent home, don't tell your parents about this, sent home a homework assignment asking kids to describe a sexual experience, middle schoolers, by the way. Describe a sexual experience you've had, but write it in a way where you would be comfortable telling your parents about it. But don't tell them this is homework. You know, I guess in hindsight, it really shouldn't be that big of a surprise how far we have fallen in educational attainment rankings around the world. There was a time reading, writing, arithmetic, America led the entire civilized world. Do you have any idea how far down the list we are now? A lot of us that are conservatives are of the opinion it's because they've been so freaking busy trying to indoctrinate, they've forgotten to educate. Critical thinking? Good luck with that. And in case you doubt the authenticity of what I'm saying, go to a store today, walk up to the register to pay for your purchase. If there's a young person behind the cash register, if your bill is $12.17, give them a 20 and a quarter and watch what happens. Give them a $20 bill and a quarter and watch their freaking heads explode. This, my fellow Americans, is what we've come to. Final break of today's show. We'll put that big old pretty bow on this puppy and we'll wrap up today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show, here and only here on the Pelican. Sit tight.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Taste the feeling.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready, and health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Welcome back to the final segment of today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show. You guys and girls know full well, and my decades and decades and decades of broadcasting it have made clear in no uncertain terms that I am conservative by nature. I have people laughing all the time when they ask me, well, who are you and where you work? What do you do? And I readily tell them I'm a God-fearing, flag-waving, NASCAR-loving black conservative, pure and simple. And as a result, going back to the last segment, I'm of the opinion that we have certain responsibilities to the younger people among us, the children. Saw a story recently that bothered me to no end. And I understand, after thinking about the story, what the nature of it was. But to me, it made it even more egregious. Here's what I mean. Recently, 2 individuals were arrested after attempting to burglarize vehicles and then ended up leading police on a high-speed chase. The 2 individuals, after being apprehended when the vehicle crashed and they then took off on foot, one was 27 years old, the other was 15. It was the 15-year-old behind the wheel when the high-speed chase unfolded. Now, I get it. Any 27-year-old low-life criminal looking to steal what other folks have worked hard to acquire knows full well if I take a juvenile with me and this goes south, I can pin it on him, he'll get a very light slap on the wrist, I'm off the hook. We all understand that's how the criminal mind thinks. Aside from contributing to the delinquency of this 15-year-old, aside from the 15-year-old also illegally being in possession of a firearm, what may be most bothersome of all is that this idiot, the criminal that he is, put a 15-year-old behind the wheel in a situation where a high-speed chase could occur. Now, how many lives of innocent people were endangered by having a high-speed chase from law enforcement unfold with an inexperienced 15-year-old at the wheel? Never once, apparently, did this criminal, I got to be careful because I don't want to lose my job. It almost slipped out. This clown, knowing that a high-speed chase could unfold at any minute because, after all, you are engaged in criminal conduct, you would let a 15-year-old be behind the wheel. Now listen, I started this last segment telling y'all, look, I'm a conservative. Y'all know this. I am a firm believer in as little government as possible. Stay the hell out of my pocket, stay the hell out of my way, and let me bust my hump to take care of me and mine. That's what I'm about. But I got to be honest with you guys and girls. In an instance like this, where there is blatant disregard for the well-being of the general public at large, you let a freaking 15-year-old get behind the wheel of a 2,000-plus pound guided missile and turn it loose on the streets of South Louisiana, knowing this clown, the juvenile that he is, has no experience to be on the roadways. I am as small a government as an individual as you will ever find. But I would support wholeheartedly making a brand new law to make an example out of clowns like this. This guy apparently didn't care at all about his own family members, about you and your family members, me and mine, law enforcement, and any other innocent person out there. You know, we are out here trying to burglarize cars, and there is a possibility with, the video doorbells and people being, more cognizant of their surroundings. There is the possibility somebody's going to realize we're out here as criminals up to no good. And if that happens and they call the law, we're going to probably have to run from them. And if we're running from the po-po at high speeds, the last thing on God's green earth I want is to be sitting in the front seat of the car with a freaking 15-year-old at the wheel. And yet, he chose to do it anyway. Now, we had an election a couple of years ago, right here in Baton Rouge. And a guy that I admire greatly, respect immensely, Sheriff Sid Gautreaux, said, listen, y'all, in the near future, crime, if it continues the way it's going, is going to be at a point where if we want to be safe, just so you know, we need the ability to hold more people that have exhibited in no uncertain terms they don't live by the rules of a civilized society. We had an opportunity back then to approve a tax for a new parish prison, to be sure that when 27-year-old knuckleheads like this jackleg decides, I'm going to take a 15-year-old with me and we're going to go engage in criminal activity, stealing stuff from hard-working folks. See, we need to be sure, y'all, we got a place for him. We need to be sure that even though there's a pandemic, even though there's this, that, and the other, we got somewhere for you, buddy. And you won't be getting out anytime soon. See, all of this crap that the Democrats, the left, the mainstream media, the liberals, and the progressives, all this crap they try to feed you about defund the police and law enforcement is a racist concept. You do realize, do you not, who is hurt the most by the criminal element? You ever stop to ask yourself, if there were no police, what segment of the community would suffer the most? I'll give y'all a hint. Looks like me. And yet, y'all still vote for these clowns. And yet, you still get your news from ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, LOL, MSLSD, all that. Thank you, Marty. You still, PBS, still get your news from them. And then, when you get home after a long day's work, you're a prisoner in your own home. Drive down the street in your neighborhood. How many folks got burglar bars up? In your own freaking neighborhood. And yet, at the end of the day, they'll tell you old white men are the problem in America. That's interesting. Okay. Old white dudes are the problem with America. It's where the systemic racism comes from. Who did they con you into voting for president? An old white dude. And yet, they have your best interest at heart. If you buy that, If you believe that, I have a beachfront mountaintop chalet in Bruley, Louisiana that I'll let you have real cheap. You know where that's at, don't you? You've seen it. Big old for sale sign. Marty's seen it. Yeah. If you believe that, I got a whole lot of stuff I'd like to sell you. The good news here, it's never too late to become politically aware. It is never too late to change past behaviors. When you get sick and tired of your community being the least educated, the most incarcerated, the last hired and the first fired, when you get tired of your community proportionately suffering more abortions, baby killings than any other ethnic group in this country, when you get tired of President Biden, calling you a moron because you won't take the shot, maybe then your mind will start to expand its horizons. Then again, maybe not. Of course, that is what they're banking on, just so you know. 10655 Coursey Boulevard, Bayou Smokehouse, the home of old school barbecue, is where we tape the show live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We'd love to see you. Come on by, meet some great people in a great atmosphere with lots and lots of really, really good food. Come on by. We'd love to see you. That being said, my time's up, y'all, and I gotta go. This day, probably, maybe more so than any other, I give it to you. America, we're not perfect, but for this old boy's money, at least for the time being, it's still the best there is, and God knows there's no place else on his green earth that I'd rather be. Speaking of the good Lord, you realize he loves you, right? And I hope you know that I do too. Then again, ain't a doggone thing you can do about either one. Take care of yourselves. Let's take care of each other. See you Tuesday. Bye.